Racism, an emotive word and one that isn't easy to define. Dictionaries can't agree, but the BNP is adamant this is not a term that applies to them. Yes, in the past the party had a problem, but now we're told they've changed. Meet Phil Edwards, the BNP's national press officer. Party members call him the Doc, on account of the fact he has a PhD. This is the Doc talking about black people.
It's not a question of whether we like or dislike them, it's a question of whether they, as a racial group, are of any danger, shall we say, to the peace, stability and the indigenous culture of Britain, and we think that they are.
That was an extract from a recording of a private telephone conversation between Phil Edwards and a university student back in January 2005. The student contacted Sky News after taking part in a weblog on our website. He felt there was a difference between what Phil Edwards said in public and in private.
Do you actually work, or are you a student?
I'm a student, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when you go to work and you pay taxes, imagine paying all that tax to give money to single parents in London who've got 3 or 4 black kids.
I don't care whether their kids are black or white, to be honest.
Well, you should do.
Why?
Well, because the black kids are going to grow up dysfunctional, low IQ, low achievers, drain on welfare benefits in the prison system, and probably go and mug you. So, therefore, you should care. It's very irresponsible of you not to care.
We played the recording to Phil Edwards and asked him to explain his views.
You'll find that, they're into crime, they've got lower IQ, they're underachievers, blah, blah,
Well, fair enough. I mean, it's rather intemperate language. I mean, it's not the sort of language which one. I mean, if I thought that was going to be recorded and broadcast to the world, I would have used not such intemperate language. But I mean, let's be honest about it. The facts are there.
Phil Edwards is a scientist. He believes his views are not racist, but supported by genetics.
The point of the matter is that people in black or sub-Saharan Africa have been not under the same, shall we say, pressures of selection that we have in this part of the world, and that has made, on average, our people slightly more intelligent. Now that can be seen quite clearly if you look at, say, the history of black Africa. I mean, there have been certainly no great civilizations that have ever formed in sub-Saharan Africa, no great science, no great... I mean, for instance, to put it crudely, there's no black Mozart, is there? There's no black Dickens. I mean, I don't want to knock the black people, but you've asked me these questions and I'm being quite honest with you.
You don't think this is racist, and you're happy that if you put someone in a room and explain this to them and give them long enough, that they would come round and see it your way?
I think that they would take off they would not be frightened to accept the fact that there is...
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, can I just... Sorry to interrupt, Phil, because I think we should try and test this. Can I just ask you very quickly, I'm going to read something to you, and I'd like you to tell me whether you think this is racist or not. Okay? Because black kids are going to grow up dysfunctional, low IQ, low achievers that drain our welfare benefits and the prison system, and are probably going to mug you. That's a verbatim quote. Do you think that view is racist?
Definitely. Yes. Yeah. Yes. I mean, a white child is just as likely to do that as a black child.
Well, I'm afraid I just can't agree with that. That is incorrect, and you're entitled to your view, but it's just not true.
This is Phil Edwards, who's head of communications for the British National Party.
Oh, right. Yes, well.
Yeah, of course, we're terrible people. Yeah, that's thanks to the media.
Nick Griffin said on Sky News that there is no room for racists in his party. I mean, do you fear when we play him this that he might think you're a racist?
Not at all. I'm not.
You'll agree with these views?
Well, I don't know about that, but I don't think that saying that makes someone a racist.
Right. Do you think? These views themselves, these views themselves, are they shared by other people in your party?
I don't know. You better go and ask them about that.
Phil Edwards' political future is in the hands of his leader, Nick Griffin, a man who has enough to worry about as it is.
Good. So, do I get your vote?
Yeah, as long as you get this road resurfaced.
Yeah, it's bad news, isn't it?
Terrible.
The local elections are a week away, and in certain areas there is evidence of strong support for the BNP. But some people aren't convinced by the new image.
You and your party are coming across like racists and bigots, to be honest.
We asked to follow the BNP as they canvassed in Hampshire. This was one of their election leaflets, inside some so-called facts. But when we asked the party to tell us where this statistic on birth rates came from, they couldn't. And this statistic on new homes for immigrants appears to have been heavily distorted. So misinformation on the doorsteps and concerns about racism at the very top. Is the new BNP really very different from the old one? Joel Hills, Sky News.